A lot of people want me to come in here and talk about what's going on with the movement and what I believe it stands for. And, we find out as retail for the last, ever, the entire system's against you. You have market makers with rule exemption 203B, and they can fill shares without locating. Now you have, Citadel going on Twitter bragging about how they do $15 billion a year worth of stocks, which is technically them selling us synthetics, or them selling us what we should be calling market maker exemptions. The entire time you sit there and you find out the media is against you, you got Kramer, you got all of these regulators that are supposed to be protecting retail, protecting all of us. Instead, they're sitting there helping them. They have a thing called an acceptance waiver and consent. Accept waiver and consent allows crime. They're allowed to do it, never admit guilt, and they just pay a small fine and just keep going. You have people like Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan with 236 violations, which are all felony crimes, but they're able to continuously trade in the market. You have your government who's supposed to be helping you, politicians who are sitting there going to these guys' Citadel's office. Janet Yellen makes more money a year doing speaking fees for Citadel than she does at her own government job. And this is the problem. You have everybody involved in this 1% club against everybody. And then what do? Just like they do with politics. Everybody, you got GME, you got AMC. We're going to put you guys against each other so you guys don't focus on the real problem, which is us. And now they sit there and they look over and go, hey, retail might be crashing banks now. Now we got to get short selling bans against banks. And this is what it is. It's always, if you guys do the things that we do to you, to us, then we need laws, then we need regulations, then we need rules in place just so you guys stop it, because the entire system is a joke at this point. Everyone is over leveraged. You have banks out there over leveraged 100, 200 times their position. You have JP Morgan, who has a bigger gold position in shorts than their entire assets, and nobody cares. They let these guys go. They manipulate the stock through ISDA. They manipulate it through total return swaps. They manipulate it through the OTC market. And then they sit there and have everybody go through payment for order flow. They have brokers that literally every time you buy, it basically hurts the stock, because what it does is you're creating synthetic outstanding shares. So you're basically raising the float whenever we buy, because what they're doing is giving you 203 market maker exemptions. So they're still selling shares that aren't there. So this entire movement is more to me than about AMC. It's about corruption. It's about the United States, pension funds, people that are being stolen from every day, trillions of dollars being taken out of the economy, put into the Virgin Islands, put over into all of these other places, and then they come up to us and say, hey, we're broke. But yet you have the companies out there that owe trillions in taxes, and they come to us. We don't have any money. And now what they're going to do? And then you find out the entire market's manipulated. So now what they need to do with treasury bonds, the government's broke. So what are they going to do? They're going to crash the market to create demand for treasury bonds. And then when you look up how much the 1% actually owns in the stock market, they own about 98% of stocks. I'm going to say it again, they own 98% of stocks. And people wonder why retail doesn't have the ability to move stocks in the way that we should. Because when we do pile in on anything, well, it's corruption. Also, no, your collusion, you guys, we're going to go after you guys on Twitter now. So, like I said, the United States is being stolen right in front of our eyes. And the criminals are being just, slapped on the wrist through acceptance waiver and consents, because they will never have to admit default until that is gone. But that's all I wanted to say. It's just the corruption is, the United States is being stolen in front of us, and this is what this movement really is about to me.
If you know that when it goes tits up on you, when the trade goes bad on you, they're going to come bail you out, right? I mean, look at Ken Griffin, right? He runs Citadel. Okay, he should have been bankrupt.
He should have been bankrupt.
He should have been bankrupt. But I've been told by a good source, and we went into a crash in March of 2020. There were swap lines given to these guys. The risk parity trade was protected. Very much like what happened over here when all your LTI stuff blew up, right?
Yeah. Or is this what happened with Silicon Valley Bank?
Well, that's a whole other story.